into top gear. Tires starting to get heated. And here's Watts, very close to Paul Morris. Not close enough, I might add.
It's almost like a bumper cam, him out of Jim Richards' S14, looking at Watts, as Watts goes out after the race leader, Paul Morris. Through the left-hander, now up towards the dogleg, and we take the opposite look now back at Patrick Watts from our race leader, Paul Morris.
Every one of them on the curbs. Look at that, from one side to the other, hitting the curbs, not doing the suspension any good. Watts a little bit asleep there at the wheel. Jimmy didn't take no for an answer there. Thank you very much. I'll have second place.
The obvious thing is down the inside, but Morris has got that well and truly covered.
One thing he can't do is drive underneath him, but I don't think you can get any closer without touching him. An absolute superb driver, Jim Richards. He doesn't touch anybody, and if it ever happens, it's pure accident. But he's controlling that car magnificently there and giving Paul Morris every go that he's entitled to.
Look at Paddy the Pom and the Peugeot on the outside, just looking to see if anyone makes a mistake. Richards really working hard on Paul Morris, and Morris has done a fabulous job. He said at the head of the show he had to win the start in order to win this race. Positions Morris the leader over Richards, Watts in thirds, Jones, Coleman and Hills round out the top five as the race continues. Race 3 of the BOC Gases Series up over the dogleg as we take Paul Morris with our race cam and see how busy he is. And actually you'll notice he's looking out the front of the screen and not so much in his mirrors.
Yeah, well, he's checking his mirrors as well. Mike, he knows that he's got a hot Volvo right on his tail, out the window, watching his revs and the rear-view mirror at the same time.
And for good reason, I would think, Alan. This race is going to tighten up lap after lap.
Here's the approach down into the bottom of the circuit. They'll turn left through this corner and start accelerating up towards the dog leg, getting themselves placed for the punch into Momo. Here's Jim again, Klaus. He's got something on his mind here. Down onto the outside, Mike. Watch this. There's got to be a BMW in spy. There he is. Oh, fantastic move. Jimmy Richards onto the inside. I don't think Paul can stop it.
Watts coming down here on the inside.
This is going to be interesting.
There's room for one, guys. One only.
Awfully tight apex for Watts. He didn't make it. That let Richards through. I think even Paul Morris might make it. No. Watts held him off in holding second.
Oh, what a move. Great, yeah, it's great on-board stuff here with Patrick.
There's the sequential gearbox. He only has to touch that lever and it changes gears for him. He doesn't have to think about a gate. It just goes up and down through the gears. A terrific invention.
Up through the gears.
Coming down the main straight, just a little bit of left hand down. You can see through the kink, just a gnat of steering. Now he'll have to turn on more steering to come through this horseshoe carousel, which is a very difficult corner. Morris trying to make time again. I think Jim has actually elected to play it cool here, Mike. He's definitely, I think, capable of going faster. It's the opening round of the championship. He doesn't want to do anything silly.
The race leader, Patrick Watts, continues that buffer over Paul Morris, the winner of the first race. Going on board now with Patrick as we head to the carousel, the right-hander that Alan calls a horseshoe because it continually just tightens up on itself. The exit here, some lap traffic to deal with and try and keep Paul Morris behind him.
Nice and steady on the acceleration. You can see Patrick there. One time he did use the lights this time, but he was changing up early, which means you don't need to be revving the engine out, trying to spin the tires in these conditions. Patrick Watts been participating in the British Touring Car Championship since 1992. Here he is going into Hungary, the left-hander up to the top of the circuit.
Whoa, it's gone! He's gone. He's caught it and straightened it out. That was half a lose.
That was a very good correction, Mike. And to stay in the lead, he'll be going to church tomorrow for that one. We're on board with Patrick now over the dog leg, down the dip into Momo corner. You can see Jimmy shadowing Morris there. He actually gains a lot on Paul Morris down the dip. That Volvo's handling extremely well.
The tyres are a bit on the sloppy side on the Bimmer.
I think they may have been, although Paul normally knows how to nurse it. But Jim is all over him at the moment. And how close can you get? You couldn't put a tissue paper there between bumper bars. But in the process, as Jim was fooling around or whatever he was thinking about doing, maybe he felt or was chastising himself for getting a bit too closely. Patrick Watts took advantage of a situation and passed Jim Richards.
Another replay here as we come down aboard Patrick Watts' car as he first lap on lap number 2. Back on board the Peugeot as he homes in on Paul Morris out of turn number 1. And it's across to this little right-hander, then back to the left that brings them on to the back straight at Oran Park. Seen some great in-car camera work today in this event. It's far from over because Watts is working to the outside as they come up. Morris has got a problem. Bits and pieces of metal, oops, flying off the back of the car there.
He's out of it now. Off the start, there's Richards on the right. We're on board with Cameron McLean. A good start by McLean. Jimmy Richards a little bit tentative still there. McLean actually beating Jim off the line. There's Paul Morris who's come from the 3rd row to pass 2 cars.
Outstanding, that, Alan.
What's this now? He's holding station on the right-hand side, exactly what he should do. And here comes Coleman on the left-hand side. Had no hope of ever making the corner, even if he hadn't have touched McLean.
Well, that was wild stuff in the first turn. Matthew Coleman, he qualified 4th. We take his reclaim here as he just pulls straight in. There goes Morris. And there around goes Matthew Coleman. We're on board here with Cameron McLean, the second of the Volvos. They come up on the inside of David Auger. Now we'll try and get Auger here as they head down to the right-hander just beneath the Goodyear Bridge. And at the same time trying to fight off a challenge here. Whoops, a little touch there of wheels.
I think for the last race of the season, I would have left the fellow in the car that had been racing it all year long. I really do feel that Cameron is having a handful here. He's been driving V8s all year, and this is just a little bit of a strange vehicle for him to come in here and do the job on the day, Mike.
Well, there he is on board with Cameron McLean. As Alan said, he's done a tremendous amount of good in the Super Tourers and has taken to the V8s like a duck to water, which goes to prove you can handle these little things under stress. You can make out just as well with the vertical 8s. Into the right-hander as we ride with Cameron McLean, and he comes out of the corner looking down the inside of Matthew Coleman. Can he get that position back again? Side by side across off the start, we take Paul Morris's car. Look at him and he says, bye! Catch you later.
Absolutely leaps off the start line. It's just superb start.
BMW technology, 3.5 years old, rear-wheel drive car, but a new 150 grand engine in.
Everybody having a little difficulty getting onto the main straight, but here, looking at the back window of the BMW, how close the Audi is. I think Brad Jones is even closer than he was in the last heat, and you see Jim Richards fading there, trying to pick a spot whether he can dive in on the inside. No, he elects to take it on the outside. He hasn't got enough steam to get by this duo in front of him yet.
Richards runs 3rd in the Volvo dealer team S40.
Great screaming as they go off the back straight, Mike. You can hear that scream low, a little bit of oversteer there with Brad Jones. So Jim's starting to get the measure of the Audi. Doing the right thing. He's got a race to win if he can. Everybody wants to get onto the podium. So he's not letting Paul Morris out of his sights if he possibly can avoid it. And Jim Richards still working here now. He's got the zigzag up the back straight. Very quick here in the earlier races. Yes, he's picked up a little bit on Brad. Might try a run under brakes down in this bottom corner, but it's a very tight right-hander. Nope, has to go left. Come in on the inside. Can't get any closer than that.
How close is this? Now, there's a little gap open up on the inside. Jim is quick up here. Yes! Gotcha.
Brad Jones in the Audi, however, he'll wait till the other 2 cars have already pitted, so expect him to come in 2 or 3 laps into the pit window.
Well, I think Charles's pit window is just closed, but thanks for that one. We'll keep an eye on that as the race progresses.
He's got the smell of the BMW now. We've got a right-hander getting ready for the left. He's going to the left, and he's going to come through the center of the corner. Oh, Paul Morris misses his aim.